Santori.
Yeah, I work
Okay.
with him. Okay, cool.
I'm live. You're live. We're live. So we lit. Have you heard that? You're like, so like we live,
You know,
baby. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about,
Mm.
but I honestly I don't fit in with my generation. Like I don't say we're lit.
We're litty.
Lit. It just sounds weird. I feel like such a mom for saying that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Wait.
just lit.
Lit.
Like
Yeah.
who feels that way? Anyway, okay. Um,
You gonna do the honors today?
yeah,
Let's
we're
do it.
back, you guys. Back and better than last week.
Mhm.
Honestly, we saw a spike in our viewers around this time. So I think we kind of agreed without really actually verbally agreeing.
Mhm.
We're gonna stick to an 8:30 time frame. It's 7:58 right now, so we're a little bit early, but it's cool. Um, we like to roll that way. So we're back on being uncomfortable or being comfortable, getting uncomfortable. This is, I want to say, about our sixth episode that we have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we are actually going to be talking about important questions, five of them, that you should be asking yourself when it comes to money. So shout out to Billy for actually putting this together.
You're welcome.
One of my favorite co-hosts to ever have, because you
Thank
were
you.
the only one that I have had. That's not the only reason though. Okay. So Billy, please introduce yourself, reintroduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of where you are at from last week. Did you use the knowledge that we talked about? If so, how? If not, why? Just give us a little bit of what you have done this past week.
Yeah, for sure. So again, welcome everybody to our Wednesday series of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So yeah, last week we were talking about money, and one of the main thing was about the relationship you have with it, and the relationships that you have with the money with like your family or your significant other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I applied was more with family, you know, just to show them how to properly, budget and go from there. So I used that from last week's episode. How about yourself?
Awesome. I want to say a little bit of actually the same. You know me a little bit more on a personal level. So me and my mom have conversations every Wednesday and Friday. Obviously, we have conversations during the week, but it's very intimate on Wednesday and Friday simply because, put our phones down and it's just, me and her time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were actually talking a little bit about a family trip that we have planned for this month.
Okay.
And, me and her kind of felt the same way. We were like, we just feel like we can use that money for something better or for something, I don't want to say worth it because obviously the memories are worth it, but,
For sure.
Something more necessary, I guess, to put it in a lack of better words, I guess.
Okay.
So we had that conversation, and I was very happy to know that she was actually super open to carrying out that conversation. And we talked a little bit about boundaries with each family member, which today actually she ended up breaking that promise that she made to me. We kind of decided to do those boundaries and really see where we give our money to and just kind of be more reluctant on that. So she actually sent money to our family over in Mexico,
Okay.
which I was a little bit upset about, but, advice from you, I guess, so maybe our viewers who might be having similar situations going on,
Mm-hmm.
how would you go about bringing that conversation up again? Because I'm kind of a little nervous to tell her, hey, Mom, we talked about this last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really want to tell her too much of what to do with her own money, but
Right.
it's kind of like that glass ceiling almost.
Yeah, no, I hear it's like a silver lining, in that
Mhm.
particular, because one, it's her money, like you said,
Yeah.
so she can do whatever she wants with it. But at the same time, I'm not saying this is your situation, because just overall speaking, a lot of us want to help, right? We want to help family members, friends, whoever they may be. But what if by helping them you put yourself in a predicament now that then you have to borrow money from like take out a loan, like a payday loan or a credit card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what good are you really doing? You know, that's the main issue. Now, if you have sufficient funds, bills are paid, savings in the bank, and then a friend or family member says, "Hey, can let me borrow $100?" Well, for sure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the criteria that I use. If I'm good, then I will let you borrow some. If I'm not good, unfortunately, I'm not gonna put myself in that predicament
Right.
because, like I said, then I have to go get a loan. Then I screw myself over even
Right.
more. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Great insight. Thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're gonna go ahead and jump into the questions.
Yeah.
So let's repeat myself. The 5 most important questions about money that you should be asking you yourself
Mm-hmm.
only. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Great. So let's start off with the first one. So when do you suggest people start investing? So the question here is, when should I start investing?
When should you start investing? Right now.
Okay.
as
Great.
soon as you can.
Mhm.
There's never like the right time to start investing, but now. So whatever you have, even when I was younger, my dad actually had bought me a una alcancía. How do you say it in English?
Like
A piggy bank.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
a piggy bank, right? It was literally a piggy bank. I remember it was a pink piggy bank that I unfortunately dropped and I broke. Okay, but the whole point
Great.
of it, he was teaching me about saving my money and investing it, because he wanted to essentially help me build that habit, and then use that money to buy a bike. Because he's like, okay, you're gonna get a bike, but you're gonna pay it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he helped me out with it a little bit, but
Okay.
the time that you should start investing is right now. So whether you're 18, 19, 20, or 30, whichever you want, whichever you are,
Mhm.
and you don't have anything, you should start investing now. And by investing, it doesn't have to be like stocks or mutual funds or any type of insurance or anything like that. But mostly start investing with something that you can do. So the first step would be like with a bank account, like a savings, right?
Mhm.
Maybe drop in $25 a week, 50 a week, whatever you feel comfortable, and then get yourself into investments that you can handle, because some of them are actually gonna make you lose money, right? So and some of them are actually going to make you a lot of money, and that's what the business that we're in. We help people. To provide solutions so they can take care of their money now, and at any time.
Yeah.
So when do you think people should start investing? And most importantly, is there an amount that you would feel comfortable with, depending on how much you make, or how do you figure that out?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, okay, for me, I would have to say, I agree with the investing right away, but I also definitely have, especially just the self development I've done, I feel as though people should really invest in themselves personally
Yeah.
when they are ready to work hard for that investment, and to continue making it grow.
Yep.
Because obviously, people like to play with the stocks because it's like, oh, well, I'm not really doing anything. It's just depending on the stocks. So I feel like that's still a little bit, I don't want to say childish, but it's still a very not as mature, thought out plan to do. For me, it's like if you're ready to put in the hard work into something,
Mhm.
and you want to start your own business, or you want to do such and such just because you don't want to be your own, or you don't want to be employed because you're tired of having a boss, or you're tired of working 9 to 5, whatever the case may be. I think it's all about mindset, and when someone is ready to put in that hard work, that's when they should start investing in themselves.
Right.
Now, when it comes to investing in other stuff, I think it's important to look into the background of what you're investing in. Basically, if it's stable enough, and just all of those criteria, as long as they meet that criteria, I think you should be fine. But as well with you, I think many people, when you ask them, oh, do you have like a checkings or a savings, a lot of them only say, well, I have a checkings, not a savings.
Right.
It's like, well,
And-
where's the sense of that?
Right, and then when you find your people like that, generally it's because they don't have enough money to save, right?
Mhm.
But then again, where is your money going? How are you personally investing in, like, in other things, right?
Right.
Like, are you eating out every single day?
Exactly.
Right? Are you buying shoes every single day?
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's the investing is crucial.
Very.
Which leads into the second question
Yeah.
which is like, how much debt is too much?
So, being a college student, the debt that I have accumulated in the past 2.5, scratch that, 3 years. Wow, it's not been 3 years. Yeah, it's intense. I actually just got a notice about 2 weeks ago, saying that the interest is going to go up higher.
Oh, wow.
I guess because the company is doing some changes or whatever. I'm not too entirely sure. I have to look into that. But as of right now, I'm about 20K in debt. From school and from the loans I had to take out and stuff not going my way. For me, even $1 of debt is too much.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that. Like I'm a lot like my mom. I just can't stand having to owe money to either people or to companies or whatever, to schools, anything. Like I don't like owing money. So that for me is just, if I want to live comfortable, if I want to live a happy, healthy life, I don't want to owe money. I want to just grow it and receive it.
And receive it and get it.
Yeah, get it, exactly.
Exactly.
And it's not to say, that money is the root of all my happiness. It's the root of most of my happiness.
Right.
But, what comes with money is once again, that health, that, being comfortable and all of that. I think it's just, for me, any debt is just, it's too much.
Oh, yeah. I strongly believe that there's good debt and there's bad debt. From what I've learned in the past, bad debt is obviously my situation I found myself 5 years ago, where I was literally in debt for $50,000. Okay, and I didn't even go to college, so that's all being very irresponsible with money back in the day.
You did, didn't you? I thought you did.
Well, yeah, but I didn't have any student loan debts or anything.
Wow.
I paid for it.
Wow.
So I worked and I went to school, so I just paid it, right?
Must be nice.
But that didn't really help me because they didn't teach me about how to use my money, and I ended up in $50,000 in debt. All of a sudden, I'm like, spending too much, and it's good to the good debt that you want to have is something that builds your credit, right? But it should be like a 30% ratio of what your income is.
Yeah.
So for every $100 that you come in, you can maybe have $30 or less of debt. That will definitely help you. That will help your creditor see that you have a history of credit. But whenever you're making $100 and then $90 of it is all debt, you can imagine how somebody can even live with that much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they really can't. So it's too much. There is such thing as too much debt, and there's such thing as just having a little bit of debt for you to help your credit and be circulating. So at least people know that you're building something, right?
Yeah, and I think to go along with credit, scores, I think it's all a matter of handling that. I don't want to say debt, but initially debt. So like, having a car lease or a mortgage or stuff or like renting a place or something like that. I think that's more of the debt that you're talking about. If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's normal. I think obviously those are day-to-day living expenses, stuff like that. So I definitely agree with that 30% rule. And I wish that someone had taught me that. So where were you when I was 18 and had just graduated high school?
Yeah, I was around.
But yeah, no, I wish that someone had that conversation with me. Even, even the knowledge of saving 10% of what you make, I feel like now that's not enough.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Yeah. So I guess that's with rent and with leasing cars and everything, that kind of leads into our next question.
Yep.
So if you don't mind me asking this question, how much house can you afford?
See, and that's a very quick question because when I was a banker, I used to give out home loans.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and some people didn't have the enough income to get the house that they wanted. Obviously, with the business that we're currently building in the near future, the price of a house is not really gonna matter, right?
Right.
But in terms of how much house someone can afford, like for example, right now, for me, I could I could afford a home, maybe a $250,000 house,
Okay.
and that's really about it. And it depends where you are too, right? You know, if you're here in Illinois, you're gonna get screwed by taxes. So if you want a better house, maybe you want to move to Dallas, you know, or Florida, or I don't know if Florida has a lot of that, but other states where
Yeah.
housing is cheap, right?
Texas is definitely one of the cheapest. I
Yeah.
feel like that's where everybody is actually relocating to.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
of that, because of that cost of home. But
Yeah.
um, so then you also have to take in consideration what you're getting yourself into, because if you buy a brand new house, which I highly recommend, always buy a brand new house, uh, because everything is new.
Exactly. You don't have to do maintenance.
Yeah.
You don't have to, paint anything, cover anything up. It's literally you're just moving into a house basically built for you.
Yeah, a house that you actually requested to be built at your own, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Now, if you buy a used house, or an older house, you may run the risk of 2 months after that, like the furnace goes out, or the AC goes out, especially if it's hot right now, right?
Yeah.
Or if
even finding a stain. Something so small can really be the trigger of something big, because I know, sorry to cut you off, I know a lot of people didn't know that the stains on the ceiling was a proof of a leak somewhere. So even stuff like that, it all accumulates. So I guess what I want to ask you now, would you suggest renting or owning?
To be honest with you, at the position that I am, the mindset that I have actually is that for me, owning a house would be something that I would do, but to rent it out.
Okay.
To make money off of that.
Okay.
And buy multiple properties. Right now, as my life progresses, I wouldn't want to buy a house because I don't want to be in one place forever. Okay, that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't mind paying the rent and having the rent price to be the mortgage, because essentially the other, the first one that we said, when should I start investing, So
Right.
I have investments in other places that are making money, right? So getting into real estate would be in the future as well, but for me, renting would be what I would love to do. What I love to do the most, because let's say maybe in a couple months I decide to move somewhere else.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not restricted to that. Or when the lease is over, I can choose to go somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And,
yeah, I definitely agree with that. With renting is more so also for me. I feel just because when the market crashes, you're not really too concerned about it, because it's well, I'm not the property manager of this. I don't really, I don't have anything to do with that. And then another side of that is basically what you were saying. It's the whole, I don't like being confined to one spot my entire life. I'm very adventurous, and I like peeking new areas. Obviously when I get much older, then I'll be like, okay, it's time for me to stop moving around so much. But yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from when it comes to that. So I guess to piggyback onto the how much house can I afford, honestly for me, I wouldn't want to own a home. So that would have never really been a topic of conversation that I would have with myself. Just because, I'm more of an apartment girl.
Okay.
I'm more of a townhouse, condo, because it's I just like the
amenities?
amenities. I'm not even going to try to say it. But I like the stuff that comes with it, like the pool outside, the grill outside, maybe an indoor gym.
Yeah.
It's listen, I'm a homebody. If all of that is downstairs and I just gotta walk down, sign me up. There's a video gaming center. Sign me up.
Yeah.
There, I like that stuff that comes with it, as opposed to me having to build from scratch, like everything. Now, for the people that like interior decorating and all that, that's great. But listen, when it comes to me, like I just like it already there.
Yeah. So picking back to that point, because some people might say, well, I mean, you can get a pool at your house, you can get all that at your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how many times do you really use it?
Exactly. Yeah.
What about the maintenance?
Great.
What about the cleaning, right?
Yes.
So yes, you can, to each his own. But
Yes.
for me personally, like that's just, I mean, a house is not really an investment to begin with. It's a liability.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
a liability that you have. So
Definitely.
so for me renting, and having all those amenities, which obviously I'm not gonna use every single day aside from the gym, I don't have to worry about the pool and those things. So it's pretty much saving cost and using that money for something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. So I believe it's Adrian or.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adrian just asked, what would you guys recommend on renting a house or a condo? So what we were actually just talking about is basically, I am all for renting. The difference between renting a house and a condo is just, the money that you're talking. So ask yourself that question: how much can I afford? And then go from there. Obviously, renting a house is a little bit more on the expensive side. It comes with depending on how much you make, maybe having a roommate or two or whatever. A condo is more like, it's less privacy is the word I'm looking for. It would be less privacy, as opposed to, because you have, if you knock on a wall, it's like, I can hear you, stuff like that. So I think it all just depends on the first thing. Your foundation question should be, how much can I afford? And then your second question should be, what comes with it? What doesn't come with it? How much privacy do I want? Just those questions. But your basic first foundation question should be, how much can I afford? And depending on the area that you live in, what am I really looking for? Am I looking for safety first and all that? So it really all draws down to, how much can you afford?
Yeah, and then with that, going back to the maintenance, right? A house is gonna require you to spend more time in it. If you don't have a contract with the landlord, if you don't have a contract with the landlord, then you're stuck with, cleaning the roof and everything. When
the gutters,
cleaning the gutters, lawn care, and then you have a bigger space that you have to clean. So, so for me, that's why renting a condo and apartment is more convenient, because I'm in and out. Vacuum, sweep, I'm done. Right, and that would be like the reason why. So, so moving on to the next one is, it's something that I ask a lot of the people here at the office to make sure that they're actually doing, because we have the potential to earn as much as we can. So, are you earning as much money as you possibly can?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have no cap amount of what I can make. If I really, really, really wanted to, I could go out right now and make $1 million.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's all about
work ethic and discipline, I think, for me.
Yeah. So work ethic and discipline, and being in the right industry. Remember that one too.
Exactly.
Because say, for example, not to bash on anybody, but say, for example, Walmart, right? Can you go to Walmart today and tell your boss, hey, I want to make $1,000?
They're gonna laugh.
They're gonna laugh at you, right? So we're other industry, in the industry that we're in particular, you literally can make $1,000 today, or you can make $4,560, or you can make, actually, hold on a second, I'm doing the math wrong. Give me a moment. So 8.
While you do that, hey
50?
Adrian, I would actually love to have a conversation with you after the live, so that we can actually talk a little bit more about that and what would be fitting for you. But what go back to.
Oh,
you
yes.
said it was 10.
Yeah. So say, for example, like if you go to Walmart, you can't ask, like, hey boss, I need to make $1,000 today, right? They're just gonna laugh at you. You have to work like maybe 2 weeks. But in the industry that we're on, you can do that. So for example, today, I went to help a client with their money, taught them how it works, and from that one I made $3,680 today.
Nice.
So I can tell myself today I'm gonna make $3,000. Right?
Not too shabby.
So am I earning as much as possible as I can? I'm doing my best.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's a very. Oh gosh, I just feel like so many people don't ask themselves this question: is am I earning as much as I possibly can? I think a lot of people use excuses as to how much they can make. It's like, well, my job doesn't pay me that much. Okay, find another job. Okay, do a side hustle.
Right.
Do something, especially if you want to have a certain lifestyle. If you have a dream of yours, I feel like just too many people are giving up on their dreams and they're not actually capping the amount of money that they can make.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's very, it's so easy and we make it so hard to make money. And when in reality it's not hard. I think it's just about mindset. It's about discipline for sure, and it's about asking yourself the right questions, and not giving yourself any negative talk. I'm very strong on, man, how did they get that, or why would someone want a 4-story house, or why would someone want a yacht? The question that I ask myself is, how can I get that yacht?
Right.
How can I get that house?
Yeah.
How can I, like, it's just about the questions that you ask yourself and the conversations that you have with yourself as well. A very big motivator that still till to this day, like, I'm very strong on him. It's Les Brown. He has a quote saying, like, how you have to be hungry. You have to be hungry. The way he says it, it's like, oh yes, I'm hungry. Like, let's get it.
Yeah.
So, how would you say? Okay, we'll answer that question in a little bit. But I think going back to it's just about mindset. It's like, listen, like, what can I do to make this happen? And a quote that I actually just saw recently that I want to bring up is, a lot of the times a salary is a bribe, basically, to give up on your dreams. So I'm going to say that one more time, okay? Your salary is the bribe that they give you to give up on your dreams. And that is one quote that has weighed heavy on me for a very, very long time. I plan on retiring my mom, so I think that when the question pops up, am I earning as much as I possibly can, I'm thinking about my mom. I'm thinking about, well, she wants this, 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 and that. She wants to get out of this neighborhood. She wants I'm not making enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how can I make more?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good to always have a passion, or to have a why behind everything that you should be doing.
Yeah.
And especially for the last question of the day, which is, what would happen if something happened to me? For example, what would somebody do if, for example, right now, my parents, right? Would they be okay? Would my sisters be okay? Would my nephew be okay if something happened to me? Am I financially covered if something happened to me? So if, say, for example, if I died today, do I leave the burden to my parents to take care of my funeral? No, I don't. I really don't leave them with that. Do I leave them the burden of the rest of the debt that I have? Because
Right.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you have any debt, it'll go to your next of kin, and next of kin would be your parents. So it's something that
Or kids.
Yeah. I mean, if they're 18 and a year older or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So so you have to be prepared, and maybe you can talk about the health, like, what happens if something happens to your health? Are you gonna be okay?
Right.
So with that, you always have to start with a plan. And the same thing going back to the first question is, are you investing in the right things to protect your life, health, and wealth? Right. So I'm happy to say, or we're happy to say, oh, you know what? I didn't congratulate you on live video. Good job on getting licensed.
Appointed.
And appointed. So now you're licensed and appointed.
Thank you.
So
In a $63 trillion industry.
which is pretty
Feels
decent.
amazing.
Feels
man.
amazing, right?
Amazing.
So
I cannot tell you the confidence that I had walking out of my house today. I was just like, boom.
The world is yours.
I'm here. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I really thank you for the congratulations. And I truly, honestly, genuinely agree with you on, like, we hardly agree on anything. So I honestly agree with you on this one. I definitely think people should really ask themselves, what am I investing in? Is what I'm investing in going to help me with my health, my future, my dreams, my lifestyle that I want to live? Is it really, bringing me what I want?
Yeah.
Second thing, how much debt is too much debt. You guys, it's super important to ask yourself this every day, especially if you do have debt. What can I do, or how can I get out of that debt? Unless it's, the good kind that's building your credit, like, leasing a car, or renting an apartment or a condo or a house, whatever the case may be. How much can you afford? Definitely do what we call a dime method. So see how much debt you have, see how much income you're making, see how much you owe in either a mortgage or in rent investments, and then the E would stand for, your education, if you either are in school still, or if you have kids that are possibly going to be going on to college. And then the last question is, what would happen if something happened to me? So these are all very important questions that you guys should not be scared to talk about with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, am I living a dream life?
Yeah.
And if you look at yourself with the stank face that I just looked at you with, that means you're not. Yeah. So honestly, please feel free to contact us. Feel free to ask us, what do you guys do? How are you guys doing it? We are more than happy to let you in on the secret. Maybe. We're picky. No, but honestly, it's super important to have these financial conversations. And like I said, Adrian, I know that you have a couple of questions, and I would love to actually just sit down and have a conversation with you and, help you out. I love helping the community out. It's what we're here for. It's why we're both here, because we have different perspectives on everything. So I'm more than happy to help you out. I'm super happy that you guys tuned in today. With that being said, you guys, please stay positive, stay up,
stay woke,
stay positive, stay up, spread love, nothing but love, and I truly hope that you guys have, added value to yourselves by watching this live today, which will soon be a video. And with that being said, thank you so much to my fabulous co-host, Billy Garcia, the one and only.
Thank you.
And
I'm getting tan. Just want to throw that out there.
He thinks he's more tan than me.
It's the shine.
It's the grease. Okay, no, for real, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Honestly, you guys are great. Keep rocking. Stay positive. Stay up. Spread love. And don't forget to ask yourselves those tough questions. Don't forget to ask yourself. He said it's the light.
It's the light. Thanks, bro.
I really don't agree with that, but you know what?
That's
whatever. Okay. No, you guys, for real, this is we're in and out. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. See you guys next week. Again, it's from 8 to 8:30. Can't wait to have more of you guys tune in, more of you guys comment, ask us questions. We love when you guys interact with us. With that being said, have a wonderful rest of your night. Be productive.
Talk to you soon.
Yes.